Welcome, Crocodomets! Oh, I have no idea what part this is.
This is Bendy part
21.
And you edit what part it was after I had my mouth open.
Serious voice, yeah.
It's like...
You just put a voiceover of yourself saying like...
Alexa, what part is
something.
this?
But we're going over theories again. Alden's gonna play.
I'm gonna play.
Because Ariel and I both played originally, and usually we have whoever didn't play, which was Alden. So he's doing it this time. While this loads, we're gonna quickly say what we missed originally, and I'm gonna have to tell you certain parts that you can't go by until we do things. So do not don't go past, when you get the lever and open the door, don't go farther. Wait
Wrong
there.
lever, Kronk.
Alright, Joey.
But things that we missed from just in general chapter, before chapter 4. In chapter 1, there's a picture of Bendy drawn. It has different poses when you look away from it, and you look back, it changes. There's nothing, like, interesting about that. It's just fun. In chapter 2, there's a bonus searcher. We'll get back to that. That actually has a lot of info. That has a miner helmet on it. After you twist the second valve that allows you to go to Sammy's office, you'll hear a searcher note, and then it spawns, and then you can go find it, and I'll talk about more about that guy later. Chapter 3 I had in my notes, and I don't remember if I said it in recording, but the original ink machine, I was wondering if it was still there. It is. In chapter 3, also, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to test it soon, because I have a save right there. Don't come through that door. But at least Prince Gast on Twitter had put a screenshot of the new boss, which does have a top hat on it. So I'll test that out and see if that's real or not. But it probably is. And then you're doing already the secret that I need you to do, aren't you?
Oh, I didn't know.
Walk through there. The wall.
What the heck is
We also missed that from chapter 4. There's our achievement for the Meatly.
Oh, is it? Oh, the Meatly.
Yeah.
Aww.
So
He's
there it is.
cooking.
He is cooking.
What's he making?
Well, it looks like we've got some weenies. Looks like we've got 2 Weenie Hut Juniors, and we got some barbecue sauce. There's a picnic basket, but I don't see anything in it, and maybe some tea or coffee. And he's doing it outside, so we've got some plants here.
Weenies and tea on a nice summer day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice inky day. You can't go through that door now if you'd like. And then one last thing of recap is that we didn't miss, but was interesting is that I saw this idea by Grapesnake that the new area in chapter 3 that was used to be part of the trailer that we saw originally for chapter 3, and they had the idea that in the trailer we weren't Henry, we were somebody else, and that's why the door is off and it's like destroyed, and you hear voices that maybe there was a person running from Bendy and whoever it was got caught, and so that's why the station's ripped apart, because Bendy hasn't attacked Henry, but maybe he was attacking someone else that he didn't care for and then used them, which I just thought was a neat idea.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say it.
It's a neat idea because, it just suggests there's something else going on, and we're about to find out.
Yeah. And so that was all my little notes of things that we missed or ideas from chapters 1 through 3. Oh, you can't go back.
You didn't tell me I couldn't go
I
past.
forgot you couldn't go back.
Alright, I'll go back.
Oh, okay. That works too. So, back to chapter 4. I was going to bring up the first audio tape, which I guess we don't have to hear, but we're going to go back and hear since it's going to be super easy. But we hear a bunch of noises from that tape. And I'm trying to remember my notes. So I think originally took our guess of who it was, that it was Grant Cohen. Do you remember who Grant is, Ariel?
Alright, Joey.
Grant is in charge of finances.
Yeah, and he had
wow.
his audio tape was like in that weird room in chapter 3 that had that extra axe in it.
Right.
So we thought it was Grant's audio tape in this room because of all the, words on the room. It's got all the taxes and whatever job stuff. But there is this, I found this idea from Adobe Out the Sign, as most of the ideas come from them. They make lots of theories. And then again, also, all these theories are going to also be at the link whenever ones we mention. So, if you want to look up any extra details on all of them, they will still be in the description if you want to see, like, the original ideas from the original people. So, they had said, I find Grant's recordings here to be really interesting because it's a recording. There would be no reason to make a recording unless he wanted to communicate something. And yet, despite this, all we hear on the tape is incoherent noises. Even the transcript says it's indiscernible, like it's supposed to say something but doesn't. But in what situation would Grant be trying to speak but couldn't? And then they showed a picture of Stryker, Edgar. So you think, because he actually has his mouth sewn shut, so possibly Joey got angry that his company was going under, and then sewn Grant's mouth shut. I said that really weirdly. And
well,
then,
that's what I would do.
Yeah. And so, especially if you're already sacrificing your employees anyways to the gods. And so you would think, like, if you click the audio tape, oh, Ariel's not going to hear it. She sees nothing. But, like, he seems distressed. So, I was curious if you thought, do you think Grant could be Stryker? Originally we said it was Sean who did the toys, because it went with the theory of, like, each tape went with someone because he had his mouth shut because the toys, he had sewn them wrong, and then he'd always talked, but we didn't want him to talk. So we thought originally Sean was Stryker.
Yeah, that's tough, because Sean sounds really perfect for Stryker to me.
Is there, like, the whole audio tape and how perfect it was?
Yeah, it just seems like that's such a good idea to put Sean to it, but it makes sense for Grant to be Stryker too.
Yeah. And then
maybe Grant's a more important character, so maybe he is Stryker.
The thing is, too, when I started really thinking about this, is that, like, does it even matter who these ones are? Because it could be anyone or multiple people. Like, there's multiple Strykers all around.
That's true.
Certain characters seem to have different people inside them. Like, Alice looks different, but maybe it doesn't matter as much for Stryker because he's more of a minion game-wise, so lots of them around. So maybe we're thinking too deep of having multiple ones of him around, or too deep of being certain people in him, and I don't know.
Right. I mean, I guess this is just based on the assumption that everybody who has worked there has been sacrificed in some way. So it doesn't really matter who they are as long as they've all been sacrificed too.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I see what you're saying.
But it's hard to say, like, oh, who do you think this character is that we see, like, 50 times in this game?
Yeah, it's not important.
Yeah. So, like, if you had to pick, you pick Sean?
I'm gonna pick Sean just because I really like that.
I really did like that theory. Do you have any opinion?
I will agree.
Okay.
Sean.
I'm gonna do one thing while we're here, and then I'm gonna go back. Can you move forward for me? We're gonna show you something. So what's interesting is in this area with the swollen searcher, if you go to the left of it,
to the left,
and then look behind it, you see a can of soup. You look down, and you move it, and there's Sammy's mask underneath it, which I thought was really weird to put in.
Well, yeah, that's important, I would think.
Yeah, and what's interesting is this is also kind of around where you get the music achievement for Chapter 4. And so what's interesting is that actually in every chapter, every time you're by the music achievement, Sammy's connected it to sit somehow. In Chapter 1, they added the part where it said he will set you free on the table, plus it's playing music. Chapter 2, it was in his office. Chapter 3, that's where you can find the audio of him in the walls if you play the band correctly. And now in Chapter 4, his mask is nearby. I don't know if there's anything, like, extra special with it. Also, I found out this was there by Morgan Arts. Yeah, I sourced my stuff. But I didn't know if you had any, like, ideas of, like, why is Sammy here? Or is they're just like, oh, Sammy, we're just going to put him by all the music stuff because he's the music director.
So where is it exactly in chapter 4? It's by music stuff, but like, what else would be significant about it?
It's like just by where you would get the achievement for the music in chapter 4, but otherwise it's just by the swollen searcher that you use to collect ink to get your gear to cross the ravine.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just a connection with the music.
Yeah, not something extra special like, oh, we're trying to solve something or anything.
No, but I think it's probably important. Like, if you see some musical stuff, you can expect something Sammy to happen. And maybe later a really big thing will happen, or...
Well, yeah, so maybe in chapter 5, when we try to find the music achievement, we should look around for Sammy of some sort. Some evidence of him. So that would be something to keep interesting for chapter 5.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Alright, I'm gonna go... What else was I talking about? One thing I want to talk about was the jump flashes, which in our gameplay so far, we've seen one and then we're about to see another. Like the ones with the books and then the arms coming out of the hallway.
Yeah.
Like we're about to see.
What is that about?
There's a lot of different theories, so we're gonna get to that right now.
Okay.
There's been theories out that were related to, like, I think Adobe Outdesign had one where it was about Henry communicating with Bendy, or sometimes if you're like more violent, you get these flashes. And the one that holds the most true, at least from what I've seen and from the different theories I've seen, is that there are actually flashbacks from Henry that he might have been in the studio beforehand, which is really interesting.
Yes.
And then Adobe Outdesign has the full theory, which I'll link. But, so what makes these jump flashbacks is considered to be flashback goes back to the Chapter 2 searcher that I had mentioned that we missed. And there's something very, very interesting with that. So, if you lead him down the sewers to kill him the same way you killed Jack Fane, and if, Ariel, you don't remember, Jack Fane is the searcher that was added in Chapter 4 with the boulder hat. Do you remember him? Okay.
Yes.
So if you kill him with the crates the same way you kill Jack Fane, you actually get that same jump flash. You trigger like one of those jump flashes.
Oh.
So the idea is that maybe it's not illusion, it's just like a flashback of something he's seen before.
Yeah.
So, but they're like different, because they're always different from the reality that you were in. Like with the books, like the chandelier shaking, and obviously it wasn't shaking 2 seconds ago and 2 seconds after. So they're different from what's happening now.
Right, indicating a memory.
Yeah, and so like it's possible that Norman has been killed twice, and that doesn't quite disprove the theory either, because like it's not 100% official, but we know pretty much ink creatures can come back once they're killed, and especially since if you kill Norman in Chapter 3, he still appears in Chapter 4, so obviously he's got to come back some way. So it still works out that the flashes still work as flashbacks, even though you kill Norman, or the projectionist. I always call him Norman. And there's actually one more flashback that we're going to try to do, and it's going to be interesting, that I was found by Toxic Boy YT. I'm guessing that means YouTube. And so if you kill the Frankenboris at the end with the empty soup can, you actually trigger another jump flashback. So we're going to see if we can get that or not.
Yeah, I want to know what happens.
I'm wondering, like, it's going to be interesting just to try to do it in general, like get all the bacon soups and try this. So we'll see what happens. But if not, I'll give a link to that video. So if we keep that in mind that they are flashbacks, the question is, when did Henry come before? Why is he back? And then what does he remember from the first time he was here? Because I feel like it's not everything.
Yeah.
So, any ideas on that?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. Okay, so I do really like the flashback idea for sure. But it is hard to figure out what happened, because he does come into it being like, all right, what did you want me to see? Like, he has no idea what's going on, is how it seems.
Yeah.
So it seems like he has no memory until he's triggered, if these are memories. But then how would he even have gotten out in the first place?
Yeah, which is interesting. Like, it could be, like, certain things, like we always thought, like, him being like, well, I don't remember this, is from, like, oh, he hasn't been here in so many years since he, like, left the company whenever he originally left.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just from the last time he was here. But it's hard to say. Like, I don't know. I feel like we'll have a lot of missing pieces that hopefully Chapter 5 will fill in.
Yeah.
Because we're getting to a point where, like, oh, we have more questions, and each chapter we're like, okay, we have more questions than answers.
Yeah. This one was definitely like that. Chapter 4 added a lot of questions and didn't answer a lot.
It didn't answer a lot at all.
Yeah.
Did you have any ideas with any of those thoughts, Alden?
Maybe it could be like a Shutter Island thing where he has no idea that realistically he's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
But he's just having some kind of mental breakdown, or something's going on with his head. But he's really been there the whole time.
Yeah, maybe he's been there the whole time, and they've like just drawn a world for him.
Yeah.
That makes him feel like he's living in a real world. Then he feels like he's coming back, but you're right, he's been there the whole time.
That would be interesting too.
And it's also their whole career is them drawing things and stuff. So maybe he felt like, okay, we're taking our art too creepily. It's too creepy and weird. And he just kind of thought that was the show. And so he doesn't associate that with what happened to him. So he kind of forgets it.
Yeah. That would be interesting. But yeah, things to keep in mind. So, like while we go through the game, well, I wanted to bring up some ideas. One is being that Bendy isn't Joey. Now, we've always pretty much always said that. But I've seen a few names thrown around, but there are 2 points I wanted to bring up mostly is either because I really like the idea and I've seen it a lot, so I should at least say it. Oh, I said that weirdly. It's either people bring it up and say it a lot, so I should say it, or I really like the idea. So first thing I wanted to bring up, something SquigglyDigg posted. This I cannot give the direct link to because the original post has been deleted. How I organize and keep track of things to find sources, I do have the stuff I can source. So here is what she had said. So we have nothing to indicate Joey had much of inflated ego at all. None of his tapes indicate that he was the kind of person who would be so wrapped up in himself that he would want to become Bendy. No, he was the type of person to use egos against themselves. He was the type to frustrate people into doing work for him out of sheer spite. He used Bertram's Bertram wanted to make the show like it was his part, and he wanted to make it the greatest that he could make it, which obviously helped Joey out. And then we have like Sammy. Yeah, that's actually the tape right there where he's kind of talking about it. Yeah, sure. How he's saying like, I am making this horrible, like this amazing part, and you have nothing to do about it. It's my part, but it's Bendy Land, so it's also kind of his part. Joey knew the spiteful Sammy Lawrence was largely motivated by frustration, so he played right into that role. He flooded the music office, gave it a half-ass fix, and forced Sammy into a corner to the point where Sammy was driven to relative madness, writing his music obsessively with his own little sanctuary. Joey kept reeling on dreaming, because he knew people ate up that slop, is something he said later in this chapter, because he knew it'd sell, and it definitely did sell. He especially used Yuzi's attachment to Alice and twisted into an obsession, calling her Alice, and that she loved it, and then even gave her the opportunity that for her that wager is what we used to get her to the real Alice Angel. He basically knew how to get what he wanted out of everybody he came across, but he was smart about it. He let people take credit where he knew it would further his own goals, but Bendy was Henry's creation. We knew that from the Chapter 3 audio tape. Joey knew that, and he had taken credit for the company and all of its cartoon, but Henry made it pretty clear in his tape that he had a new character he thought people were going to love. Henry, not Joey. Henry's stated ownership over the character. With Joey's track letter, I doubt he would have felt any personal ownership over Bendy, though that might not have stopped him from trying to assimilate the character into his company without credit to Henry. Basically, Joey Drew is insanely smart, a downright sociopath. He knows how to manipulate people to a T using their own flaws against them. So why would he turn himself into Bendy when he could always get somebody else to do it for him? And then he could take credit for the creation of a perfect living cartoon without the risk of becoming a toon himself. So I think I'm still quoting, I think Joey called Henry back to the studio to try to turn him into the perfect Bendy because clearly his previous attempt seems to have failed horribly. He wants to show him something after all, just like he had an opportunity for Susie Campbell. So I think this is a really good point. Like, there's not like, oh, Joey is this person, but it gives a really good point of why Joey isn't Bendy. And how, I think it's just a really good point of how smart he is and what, like, when you think of all those points, like, how, even though we haven't even met this character, how much of a cool character he is to have done, well, all this horrible stuff, but like a well-developed, interesting character.
Yeah, for sure. Extremely manipulative, extremely smart, like you said. If this is the case, it makes him a lot more interesting and have a lot more depth than just, I want to be this, so make me this, make me Bendy.
Yeah, and it gives him like a lot more, because we were just like, oh, he's gonna die because we saw that wheelchair, so he's Bendy. Which, like, we do have the Bendy limp with the wheelchair, like, going together, but, like, we don't really have much proof towards anything, really.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good idea, and I know a lot of theories, which I'll get into a little bit later, is that Henry's going to be the perfect Bendy.
But who's Bendy now if it's not Joey or Henry?
There is one idea that I saw. I don't know if they were like a serious idea or not. I'm quoting silly headcanons, and that's why I didn't know if it was a serious idea from Admin Killer. But I've seen the name Wally come up multiple times. I think even Game Theory said it was Wally too. But what I think, I'm just going to take their quote from Silly Headcanon. It says, Ink Demon Bendy has been shown in the new Master chapters now has a sense of humor with him, if not sadistic one, now that he slams against the vent and spooks us. And also how he like peeks in when we're with the projectionist and says like, you know, he's like, hi, I'm not gonna murder you, but I'm gonna murder Norman. So, Ink Bendy is shown to be able to walk through all areas of the game except in the new Chapter 4 from what we've seen. And then Ink Demon Bendy's also shown to be fairly smart as well, getting out of traps set by players if you dared in Chapter 3, as well as hunting you down for trying to set the traps. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? So don't be surprised when you get the final chapter and instead of Joey Drew, you have a janitor waiting for you, done cleaning up your messes and making sure you never get out of there. So that's why I don't know how, like we don't have a ton of evidence. Besides this, he's also the character that's seen since Chapter 1 and it's been in every single chapter. So he could be, you know, he's a little bit more main character than, you know, others, like even just Grant or Norman, but we do have evidence that Joey could be Bendy, and really either way we only have so much to work with. I don't know, like, if you had any thoughts of like what will happen in the final chapter, who you would prefer would be Bendy in the end.
Yeah, well, so if it's between Joey and Wally, that's who it is, right? Wally?
Yes. Or you can pick whoever you want.
Or whoever. But so if it is between Joey and Wally, I would prefer it to be Joey, even though I really like the interesting character of him being manipulative. It's still a good character for him to be this craving power person who wants to just be Bendy. And I think it would be better in Chapter 5 for it to be Joey than to be Wally. I think Wally would be a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I have, like, a really decent amount, you can keep going, by the way, like, with the actual story.
I thought that was the actual story.
Well, you can play games if you want, but I feel like there is so much evidence that Boris is Wally. Like, there's so much that connects it to it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we don't have, like, oh, this character's this, and this character's this, and, like, but there is, like, if we do, like, with the ideas and evidence we do have, I do feel like Boris is Wally and Bendy is Joey, based off of what we have. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think some people like want it to not be as obvious, so they want it to be somebody else.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. With
I think
that.
there are so many things though that aren't obvious that are going to be a surprise. That Bendy being Joey isn't going to be disappointing. It's not going to be like, oh, we knew it all along, because there's going to be so many other things that you're like, oh.
I feel like there's going to be some other twist, and now we know from the last screenshot last Saturday is that we're going to his office. So we're going to do something with it, or at least find an audio tape or something in there. And what's interesting is that when you look at the pictures, there's like ink coming out from under the floor, and there's ink covering the window for the door, so I don't know what happened in there, or...
I mean, it could even be that, like, Joey was so oppressive to the workers that they all turned on him, and I don't know who made the evil magic, but maybe somebody else made the evil magic and made him into Bendy. They're like, oh, you like your show so much, why don't you be Bendy?
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what's going on with that. We're going to continue with our theories next episode. So I hope you're enjoying them. We're going to cover a lot of things like possibility of two Bendys, and things about Bertram, and a lot of things about Frankenboris, and all kinds of stuff, and things from the new trailer and new audio tapes we've been getting the past 2 weeks. So stay tuned. These will be coming out daily, leading up to our final Chapter 5 playthrough. So I hope you're enjoying all the theories so far, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Wanna be ya.